Hello everybody, I'm so excited to be back for another forecast. Woo! I haven't done one since I moved into my new place. So here I am in Florida. I'm all moved in, very excited. And I'm excited about this full moon in Virgo. We are amongst some magical energy as well as a lot of craziness that's going on. We have some perfecting difficulties that are coming up late March into early April. And I think this is going to be a nice opportunity for us to get fairly grounded. And it's a reality check. That's the way I'm looking at this. It's a reality check. It's a check-in point for us to maybe get organized, ground what's been going on in our lives, and face the reality of what is happening. So my name is Yelena Crawford. If you've never met me before, I am an intuitive astrologer and this is my channel. So welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you guys so very much. You know I love you. And today we're going to be discussing the full moon in Virgo, holistically, the big picture. One thing I do want to point out is I've had a lot of people commenting lately, whether it be on some of the stuff I'm posting on Instagram or some of my colleagues are posting. And I'm seeing a lot of energy come up surrounding, well, is astrology really valid? This can't possibly be true. My life seems to be completely up in shambles, or this and this and this is happening. And I need to make it very clear that these are general forecasts. What we do during these videos as astrologers is we are talking about the transiting energies, where the planets are currently moving in the sky and how those energies are cooking up. So for you, for instance, those transits are activating certain points in your chart, or maybe they're not activating your chart at all. And that's why sometimes this energy really resonates with you and sometimes it might not. So a lot of people are talking about this magical Pisces energy that a lot of astrologers have been discussing and how it doesn't seem to be having that magical essence in their lives. And that's probably because if it's affecting you negatively, maybe you have a ton of Pisces placements right now or a ton of mutable placements, which is also Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and it's affecting you in a more challenging way, right? So we have to remember that, and we're going to go into that a little bit more, explaining kind of where we're at in terms of Pisces season, with the sun traveling through the final decan, and what that means, what that could look like. So just understand that this is general, and if you really do want to break it down, you really need to get a personal reading. So with no further ado, we're going to go ahead and continue on here. So if you guys want to find a little bit more of my content, you can also find me on Instagram, as well as subscribing to this YouTube channel. So if you are interested and you find me a reader that you resonate with, or you like my style of reading, please tap the subscribe button. Share this video with anybody else that you think might benefit. This is a small growing channel, and I would really love the opportunity to get my message out to more people and to show people how useful astrology is in your everyday life, because I want to take a more practical approach of helping you utilize the wisdom of the stars in your everyday life. So there you go. Add me on Instagram. My handle is up on the screen. It's Yelena Crawford Astrology. There you go. And then moving on from there, if, again, I am somebody that you resonate with, I'm accepting personal readings. I do book up fairly quickly, so thank you guys so very much for keeping me busy. I love connecting with all of you. But if you are looking to make sense of some of the current themes that you're navigating and what the planets have in store for you over the course of the next few months or year, you can book a personal reading with me at www.yelenacrawford.com. And I am now accepting bookings for the month of April. So I'm excited to connect with you guys. Okay, so first I'm going to bring up a chart here. This is just a basic chart of the full moon in Virgo. And this is, as you can see, the full moon is when the moon is directly opposite the sky from the sun. So here the sun is in Pisces. It's in the final decan, 27 degrees of Pisces. It's coming off of a conjunction with the planet Neptune, right? And it's got this magical energy to it, but we don't want to overemphasize the magic of Neptune, which I think Neptune has this elusive quality to it. It's definitely illusory, and it's all about illusion and fantasy, and it's very deceptive sometimes. And I think from a lot of the videos I've seen and things that a lot of astrologers have been writing, leading up to this Pisces season and leading up to this Neptune-Jupiter conjunction that's going to be taking place in April, I think a lot of people have been falling prey to the deceptiveness of Neptune and kind of only seeing the more magical and positive qualities. While I understand that we have been through some really hard things, especially since 2020 with this Saturn-Pluto conjunction, everything that's happened with COVID due to that, as well as last year, we had this Saturn-Uranus square that was taking place, and it's just a lot of hard stuff that we've been navigating. So I think, honestly, we've just really been wanting to see the rainbow, you know, the gold that lies at the other side of the rainbow. But we're not really seeing things clearly. I think people are starting to now, right? And I am one of those people. And I definitely was one of the ones that fell prey to it a little bit. I didn't think it was going to be all sunshine and rainbows, but I was really being a little bit more optimistic and definitely more hopeful. And I think coming from somebody that also has their Jupiter in Pisces, I'm experiencing my Jupiter return during this time. I'm experiencing a mixed bag of magic, where a lot of my dreams are coming true, long-term dreams, but also on the other end of that, I think I've definitely fallen prey to over-idealizing and over-romanticizing certain things in my life too, which is now kind of falling apart, and I'm realizing that it's not exactly what I thought it was. So we'll get into that, because I think that's a lot of what this energy is deception, lies, illusion, fantasy, our own aptitude or our own tendencies to kind of drift off into things that we want, or our own fantasies, and falling prey to our own imagination, really, and not being able to see clearly. Everybody probably has heard at this point that Neptune is very much associated with wearing rose-colored glasses, so only seeing what we want to see. And that is something you want to be really, really careful with during this energy, especially once Jupiter hits the conjunction. In April with Neptune, Jupiter tends to expand upon everything and make it bigger. Jupiter rules over our perceptions of things, and our perceptions can definitely steer us down the wrong path or in the wrong direction. So we want to try to keep ourselves as grounded in this physical reality as humanly possible right now, finding a good balance. And that's exactly what this full moon is going to be doing for us. I do like the energy of this full moon, being that Pisces is that ethereal sign that's connected to other realms. It's not really having clear boundaries and allowing us to be very creative and drift off into this fantasy land, which we need that to be able to create what we want for our future, to be able to use our vivid imagination to imagine where we're heading and what direction we're heading in life. That's creation energy, right? We do need that component of it. We don't want to get rid of that. However, we want to be able to put the proper plans in place to execute these types of things. And that's really, really hard, especially when we have Mercury, which is that logical, rational planet that helps us to get down to the nitty-gritty details and helps us to execute some sort of structured and methodical plan. But when it's in Pisces, it makes it much more difficult for that to occur. So as we can see on the other side of all this magic in Pisces at the bottom of the chart here on the screen, we've got the moon, which is sitting in Virgo. And Virgo is an earth sign that's ruled by Mercury. It's all about the details. It's all about analyzing where we're currently at, using an energy of discernment, realism. You know, it's much more practical. And it kind of brings us back down to reality, because Virgo is an earth sign, right? It's all about this earthly physical realm. So with that said, I'm going to show you guys some of the other configurations that we're experiencing with this as well. So why I like this so much is there is a grand earth trine, as you can see, that's associated with this full moon. So we've got this moon in Virgo, which is making one corner of the trine over to Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. So this is really amping up that energy of ambition and kind of the transformation that's been going on with what our goals are, our long-range goals and plans, because we also, and how to make that a reality, because we've also got this other leg of the grand earth trine heading over to Taurus, connecting with the north node of fate. So this is all very fated, very karmic and destined, and this is an energy that helps us with flow and ease of certain circumstances and situations in our lives, right? It's very highly creative energy, and it really should help us have an easier time grounding and stepping out of this more anxiety, tension-filled energy that we might be experiencing that we can't quite pinpoint. It's like this weird energy that's been going on, and I've talked to a lot of people about it. I've been experiencing it myself, and I know that it's there. Now, on top of this, we're also seeing a kite formation in the chart. So look at this. So not only do we have that grand Earth trine, but as we can see, the opposition from the moon to the sun is also considered here. So there is this opposing component that's going on here, the need to kind of balance out our imaginative, creative pursuits, escaping into fantasy land, but also grounding that here and really getting the facts in order, really being more discerning with the energies that are present in our lives, which is helping us to kind of streamline what it is that we want and what it is that we're currently being faced with in our lives, right? Figuring out the details. What kind of healthier habits and tendencies do we need to maybe step into? And we're going to talk about all that again in a moment, but also this point up here, the sun in Pisces is making two sextiles, one over to Pluto and another one over to the North Node. So that's what creates this kite configuration. So what's nice about the kite is it gives us this outlet to kind of outpour our creative energies into. And that's where the sun is in Pisces, right? So wherever that Pisces point is in your chart, that's where you want to focus on really developing, stepping further into purpose, shining your light, and allowing your creative energies to flow. But another point that I want to make is this is activating a point from the lunar eclipse in Taurus that was in November 21st, 2021. So this is an activation point of that eclipse. It was a lunar eclipse, which is much more internalized. It was all about our own emotional nature and things that we could have potentially been maybe releasing to move more into this these Taurus energies that the North Node in Taurus has now moved into, or the North Node has now moved into. So it's how do we embody those energies, which is building and stabilizing for the future. This could have to do with finances. This could have to do with our relationships, what it is that we truly value, and how we really feel a sense of self-worth within ourselves, which could ultimately help transform everything when you step more into your own personal confidence, knowing what your worth is, and kind of grounding that in reality and living that. Right? Not just thinking it, but actually living it and making decisions that back that type of energy. So I do like that activation here. So it's almost like this is another point of that manifestation of energies. And it's another crisis point where maybe we're having to make some adjustments or transition a little bit further, because a lot of this energy of this full moon is a lot of mutable energy. So we're transitioning things potentially that were very stable and secure at one point, and now we're in a transition phase. And that can be kind of challenging, right? So there's a lot of tension and stress that's involved with that. But right now during this full moon, the energy seems to be flowing a little bit more normal than usual. So with all of that said, I want to talk a little bit more about Neptune. I'm going to go back to just this clean chart here so we don't have all these lines. But going back to the idea that a lot of people fell prey to this illusory nature of Neptune being so unclear, mysterious, and foggy that it's really difficult to pinpoint the way that its energies are going to manifest, especially considering the fact that Neptune is in Pisces, which is its home spot, and Jupiter's about to connect with it. Jupiter's also in its traditional home spot. And this is a place that they feel most comfortable and they can bring forth the best qualities of their energy. But we also have to remember that, like Neptune, I mean, everything is a spectrum, right? And Neptune does tend to bring this fog, this lack of clarity, this confusion in life. And I think a lot of people are definitely experiencing that. We're experiencing that on the world stage. Neptune does rule over the media, and Jupiter rules over our world views and our personal perspectives about situations, our sense of morals and ethics, the way that we view the world at large, our belief systems about spirituality and religion and the universe. Everything is tied in with that. So everything in like that is kind of up in a transitionary period. It's in flux. And we're receiving a lot of deception, especially through media streams of media. And we're not being really told the truth. There's a lot of confusion up in the air. And there's a lot of things right now where people are starting to question even more the way that they see things, things that they believe. So it's kind of making things a little bit more deceiving, right? There's a lot of deceptive energy going on. There's a lot of scammer energy going on in the spiritual community, as you can see. And this is all very spiritual energy in Pisces. It's tied in with people who do energy work and healing and astrology and are tied into all those types of professions. There's a lot of false gurus out there. There's a lot of people that are delivering information that's not necessarily true, or they're not necessarily worthy of delivering that type of information. And we have to be much more discerning and careful with whom and what we're sharing our energy with or to. And that's what I think that this Virgo energy is helping us to shine our light on, because Virgo is a very, very discerning type of energy, right? It's very careful with where it puts its energy. And this is going to help us hopefully do that. Now, I've had a lot of clients that are experiencing a lot of issues with over-romanticizing certain things in their lives and not seeing it clearly. And then suddenly the illusion is starting to maybe crumble or fade, or we're having a major moment of a reality check. So just keep an eye out for this, you guys. Don't fall prey to falling too far away into fantasy land or escaping from the reality of a situation or the work that really needs to be done. You know, because Virgo is all about details and planning, strategizing for the future, being very helpful, being of service in some way to help other people. And we want to make sure that we are still utilizing that kind of information as well. This opposition that's this full moon, it can be about balancing out two dynamics. And we have those dynamics that are presenting themselves right here. We also want to be careful that we are not over-romanticizing the people in our lives. Is there a new relationship that came in, or somebody that you're dealing with, a boss, or an authority figure, a job opportunity, or maybe it's just, who knows what it is, people in your workplace, family matters, like it could literally be family matters. And this, you know, one point, Neptune dissolves, so it could be dissolving these types of things and kind of dissolving the illusion, so you're seeing things for what it is, or maybe not. So you want to be careful here, okay? Be careful. That's all I'm saying. Tread lightly. I just said the other day in a post that I make that this is the type of energy that can have the potential to overpromise and underdeliver. So that is one warning I do want to put out there. While I do like these energies for being a little bit more realistic and helping you to do that, you have to actually work with that, right? That's energy that you're going to have to work with. This is also energy of substance abuse, right? We have so much Piscean energy that's going on right now that I think it's very easy for people to fall back into old habits. With the sun in the final decan of Pisces, it's kind of like crisis energy, because all the final decans are ruled by either Mars or Saturn typically, and those are very challenging planets. And this is literally the wrapping up of the astrological year, because Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, and we're in the final decan. So this is very crucial energy that can be kind of chaotic, where maybe we do fall back into old tendencies, and we're being challenged to really surpass and transcend, because this is an energy of transcendence, old aspects and versions of ourselves. So this can have to do with addictive tendencies. It can have to do with victim energy, falling prey to narcissists or people who are illusory in some way that aren't portraying an accurate or true picture of who they are, right? So just be careful. Like I said, if you are falling back into old habits and patterns, you know, don't beat yourself up, but maybe utilize that Virgo energy. Virgo is all about taking care of the body. It's a perfectionistic type of energy. So it's finding ways to maybe exercise, focus and hone in on your nutrition, adopt healthier behavioral patterns in your everyday life, right? Something that you can make a habit that's going to be more beneficial for you in some way. There you go with that. Now, I do want to also pinpoint this idea of the victim energy, and that a lot of people are kind of taking on the characteristics right now, thinking that life is happening to them rather than for them. So if you are one of those people, this might be a good reality check for you, where maybe you can shift your perspective a little bit and see that the lesson in some of these circumstances. And I'm not trying to make light of anybody that might be going through some really difficult things right now. And if you are, my love, compassion, empathy, and energy goes out to you. You know, I truly am not trying to say like, you know, just pull your big girl pants up or anything like that. But I just want to throw that out there. So you do what you will with that. Now, really, in this period right now, we could totally be feeling like we're in a void space, right? And this void space can feel like we have no idea where we're heading. You know, it can be really unsettling sitting with the unknown. That's very challenging sometimes, especially for Virgo and control freak energies that might be highlighted right now, where we have to know where we're going. The details are so important and blah, blah, blah. And we might not have that. So just kind of surrendering, that's a good way to deal with that if you're coming from that aspect of this as well. And just kind of sitting in the void. But this energy of the full moon may also highlight next steps to you. So that can always be nice as well. But those next steps, because shortly after this, we have Venus and Mars moving through squares to Uranus. Those next steps might bring in some change. It might bring in, I mean, we might be feeling this energy of wanting to make a change, of feeling a little bit more rebellious. And, you know, I'm not sure how it's happening for you specifically, but just know with that reality check, with maybe getting information about next details or next steps, something might have to happen. You know what I mean? And that can be on a very small level where maybe you have to make a big change in your life or little changes to your daily routine, or there might be some major thing that has to happen, right? And that'll just be depending on how it's activating your chart. Be careful at this time not to shy away from responsibilities. You want to find a happy medium here of rest and retreat, as well as focusing on the things that are important, the steps that need to be taken, honing in on the details, taking care of your responsibilities, helping where you need help. Is there something that you could do during this time to be of service to other people? Is there something you could do to be more helpful to the people in your lives? To the people in your life, I guess I should have said, right? A couple more points I wanted to make here is the absorption of energy, right? So this is an energy where we want to maybe adopt some good spiritual hygiene. Whatever we can do to detox, to take care of our body, sit in a sweat room, take a swim, get in water, whatever you can do physically to get your body moving. Anything on that spectrum of the Pisces and Virgo energy, because a lot of this energy that's going on right now is could potentially be picking up the energy of our surroundings with a lot of this Piscean energy. So this is a good time to really get right with yourself and clean that out and ground. Entanglement. Be careful you're not getting too entangled in these circumstances that may have presented themselves. You want to be discerning, like I said, be discerning of the people that are around you. This is like a testing point. You know, we're coming out of that Venus retrograde in Capricorn. This is a testing point. There's a lot of opportunity that could potentially be presenting itself with this Jupiter energy as well for some people. But the Virgo moon ultimately is here to shine a light on a lot of these dynamics and bring in order, bring in organization and attention to routine, health, well-being, and how you can be more helpful to yourself or other people. Another point I want to make really quickly is if you are somebody who is upset that you're not getting this Jupiterian magic that everybody keeps talking about, another thing to consider is looking at your chart. Are you a day chart or a night chart? If you are somebody who is part of the night sect, this might be a new concept to you maybe. And I'm not going to go into it because it's a whole thing. But if you are where the sun is below the horizon, if you were born at night, the horizon line is from ascendant to descendant in the chart. And if your sun is below that, you are a night-born person, and Jupiter happens to be not your best planet. I mean, it's not going to bring you hardship or anything, but it's not going to bring you benefits as much as it would somebody who's born during the day. That's going to be their most benefic planet in their chart. So these are just little things to take into consideration, you guys. Well, I wish you guys that I had time today to go into forecast for all 12 signs, but unfortunately I have to go to work. So I love you guys. I just wanted to come on and do a little video. I got my little boy right here with me. It's his 10th birthday today. So we'll say happy birthday to Ozzy. But it was really nice to chat with you guys again, and I will see you in the next video. So if you guys really enjoyed this video today, I would love if you could share how you're experiencing these energies, or if you just want to say hi, leave me a comment below, tap that like button, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace and namaste, my friends.